Hello and welcome to the A Weasel, a Pickle, and Levi podcast, a podcast with three wonderful friends. We come to you live tonight from the International Space Station. We're floating around. There's toothpaste and water droplets in the air. We just ate some dry food. We're really excited to look down on the earth and record a podcast. I would like to address the elephant in the room this evening that it's been over a week and a half that we haven't had a podcast, and I'd just like to apologize. We're very important people on this program, living big lives, and so we've been busy. But we've decided we will drop the podcast weekly on Saturday nights now, so you can expect to get it on Saturday nights, wherever you get your podcast: iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. We're podcast moguls. We're professionals. We do radio well, and so you can get it wherever you get your podcasts. Tonight we have a very special guest on the program, a friend of the podcast, the wonderful Lindsey Zuidema.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Lindsey. We're excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad I've been announced as a friend of the podcast. I didn't know that was what that was, but...
Yeah, friend of the podcast, more than friends to someone on the podcast.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So normally we start out with an Ask Reddit question, and I found this question that it seems just incredible that I found it because it's very specific to our needs tonight. What is it like to date a weasel?
Oh, that was on Reddit.
Yeah, someone in particular can really answer this well from firsthand experience.
Everyone has to answer this question?
No, you get to, Lindsey.
Oh, because I was thinking like we can start with Mark.
Yeah,
No.
I'm going to listen to what other people were going to say and then kind of like build my answer off of that.
Okay, my answer is I don't know. Thankfully, so.
You haven't dated a weasel?
Oh, it hurts a little bit, but okay.
I would say pretty A+. Yeah, good.
It's good? Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, he's nice sometimes.
That's surprising. I really haven't found him to ever be nice to me, so.
That is true.
It's like 12% of the time.
The weaselness is for you, Chase.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's about 3.5.6%.
What?
There we go.
Yes.
I actually didn't find that on Reddit, believe it or not. I just thought of that one.
I wonder if you like search that on Reddit, if you could find that.
I could post it. Should I post it? Do you think people would answer?
I'm wondering if there's already an Ask Reddit that is called that.
I don't know.
There probably is, actually.
The real question, actually, that I did find... Parks, okay, all right. What are you doing, Parks?
Nothing. I was going to call you.
Parks, we're professionals here. Can you please focus?
Okay.
On Google Podcasts to listen to this.
Yeah,
Professional.
we're moguls, Parks. Stop living like a Neanderthal in the slums.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Okay, the real question that I want us to talk about tonight is why do you believe in God? This was actually asked on Ask Reddit. Like people are wondering this. So, Parks, why? No, actually, I don't care what you say. Lindsey, why do you believe in God?
Okay, this is like a big question. Like, I guess, like now or why I started believing in God?
Let's go with now.
Okay, well, because like that's like, you know, that thing where you kind of think about like, really, I think a reason that I'm really fortunate to believe in God now is kind of, first that I have like really faithful family members and people who like taught me since I was very young about God and like had a community that like showed me who he is. I guess, I don't know, there's a ton of different reasons that I believe in God and just...
It's hard because it's a big question.
It's a huge question. Like, You
We
just do a
ask
whole.
big questions on this
That
program.
is true.
I mean, I guess one thing that I come back to sometimes, like, I mean, which is such like a simple thing and just not, I mean, not like super like, into the depths of the Reformed faith, but like sometimes when I am like having things where I used to just like be like, I don't know, like, am I right about this? Like, am I in the right religion? I guess I would say like I go back to like the very beginning with creation and stuff. And I'm like, do I believe that anything else besides an all powerful God could have made the world with all its complexities, people with like souls and emotions and so much life and an entire universe? Like, do I believe that could have happened anyway, except for what we're taught in the Bible and like what I see taught in my church? Or not like Hope CRC, but like, in the Christian church, do I believe that anything else is possible besides that? No.
So would you say that's kind of like you're able to see him,
Yeah.
like in everything around us?
Yeah.
Because that's a pretty
so.
deep Reformed answer, actually. Because that's
That's true.
that's general revelation, I guess, right? And
Yeah.
can I answer with Lindsay on this? Is that okay?
Yeah, you guys are basically the same person, so.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know. I think we complement each other. I don't think I would definitely not say we're the same person.
No,
Probably
I wouldn't say so either, even though I did just say so. So.
yeah, good.
So like that's a good starting point for us as Christians. Like that's how we get to know him. That is what we go back to. But also we don't stop there with the idea that we know that it has to be true on an intellectual level, because there's also that thing about faith and having that relationship with him. And so he's real and you believe in him because he's there real with you.
Right. Because I think there's also like that part of that where like beyond knowing like that this is real, would I want to be part of any other faith system and work to serve any other God? Absolutely not.
Yeah, what other God died for you, I guess?
Right.
I used to wonder about, like, it's easy to not ever, because I had that stage in my life too. When I got a little bit older, I would say it was like early high school. I was like, how do I know I'm right? I guess. And I think that's a fair question, and that's not a question to be ashamed of. Everybody is given doubts, but like, it's easy to see that religions that are pretty unorganized, like they don't make sense, like Hinduism, stuff like that. It's pretty cultural, and it doesn't make sense to me. Now, if you look at Islam, that's a religion with no hope. Like, and it's all about you. Is that a religion you want to believe in?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Parks, do you have anything to say? I know you're a Wesleyan and you're you, so you probably don't have very many deep thoughts, but
I guess I would say that my life is impacted the most by believing in this God and in the Christian faith, because I don't know, the application to me is just bounds deeper than any other religion, I would say. Like, it just affects my life and my relationship with other people a lot more.
Yeah. Parts, you like Case for Christ, right?
Yes,
So I don't know if it talks about it in that or a very similar book or movie, but some of the evidence for the truth of the Bible and like issues like that is that it has changing power over people.
Right. Yeah, I think that is in the book a lot. I read most of the book and I never got to finishing it, but yes, I think I'm right.
Talk about the disciples and how all of them kind of were like, nope, don't believe in him, and like were afraid and left. And then how later on they all ended up, besides John, being martyred for their faith. And they that as a testimony to the truth of the events that happened. Why would 11 people just die for a lie, something they thought was false, just to pull the wool over everyone else's eyes.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. Yes, I do remember. That was just a lot of good points in that movie and the book. Yes.
Is that a question? Because you asked, like, why do you believe in God in the case for Christ? Like, is Jesus real, and was his death and resurrection real? I think that gets at the same thing.
Yeah, I think the question of is Jesus real and is what he did real and did it all happen is slightly different. Like, that's more like, is the history true and stuff like that. But then why do you believe in God? At least to me, lends itself to more of a personal answer rather than like looking for historical true facts. But like the historical fact of was Jesus real and is what he did true, like that definitely influences why you believe in God. At least it has for me.
Mhm.
Makes sense. So what are your personal reasons for it?
I think, like, I had a period of strong doubts in high school too. I think that's a common experience. But some, like the argument of Jesus, like C.S. Lewis's argument of Jesus was either a lunatic, a liar, or Lord. Like that one's pretty solid. And then what you talked about, Nathan, just now, like why would 11 people die for something they knew was a lie, something that they had witnessed in history? Like that's really, really solid. And then I think it's called the ontological argument for the existence of God. I couldn't exactly explain it to you. I think I tried to explain it. I tried to explain it to you once, Nathan, and I didn't do well. But if you want to know about it, look it up. It's a good argument. And it really influenced me to like put aside some of my doubts. But at the end of the day, like you're always going to have questions and things coming up, and you just have to put those down and say if you believe or not. And it's not like it's going to be all at once. Like it's a journey, and like it's a continual spiral upwards, hopefully, the Christian journey. Like my pastor has used the analogy that to be a Christian is like you're walking up the stairs with a yo-yo. Like at some points you're going to be lower, and some points you're going to be higher, but you're always like trending upwards. And so that,
Unless you like fall or drop the yo-yo.
well, but like if you're a Christian, you're never going to fall out of the hands of God because of the perseverance of the saints. So, I mean, yo-yo is never going to fall, Mark.
Okay, that's good.
Maybe your Wesleyan beliefs tell you different, but
no.
us biblical Reformed people, we don't believe that.
Okay.
I do love that though, that belief.
The perseverance, yeah.
People. Yeah.
Very comforting.
Yeah, you're never going to be able to prove the existence of God. It's never something that anyone will be able to do, no matter how smart they are, how close they are to God. It is a personal knowing. So, kind of hard to put words on, I think, for me, but I do know.
Something I come back to again and again is like the externality, the external nature of Christ's sacrifice on the cross. Like having that be something that is solid in history, like it happened in history and it's true and it was done for me, is super comforting for when like my heart is fickle and I don't feel the faith or I'm doubting, like knowing that no matter what's going on in my heart, Jesus' death on the cross and resurrection is true, and that gives me entrance into heaven and gives me righteousness, all because of that act outside of myself, is super comforting. Knowing that no matter what I'm feeling, I'm his kid, I'm his child.
And that's where Christianity is different than every other belief system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's some good discussion, guys. Here we go. Now we have our other regular segment, the quote segment. This is somewhat influenced by us having a music education major on the program today.
Yeah.
So the quote, I think music in itself is healing. It's an explosive expression of humanity. It's something we are all touched by. No matter what culture we're from, Everyone loves music. Billy Joel. I can read it again. I'll just read it again for our listeners. Of course, we all caught it and we know, but our listeners, we want to be good to our listeners. I think music in itself is healing. It's an explosive expression of humanity. It's something we're all touched by. No matter what culture we're from, everyone loves music.
You just had your world music class.
Yes, I did have my world music class. I mean, yes, there's just like, I mean, 5 different major points in that statement. But I think, like, it was like, yes, music is healing, and I was like, oh, good quote, and then it was like 6 other things.
Explosion of humanity. That's pretty vague. It's colorful, but I don't know. It feels pretty vague to me.
Well, to me, that's what music is sometimes, like a vague explosion of feeling, and sometimes it's very specific. But
here is something like I've been thinking about, especially taking like a world music class. Is sometimes people like to paint music as kind of, I mean, probably myself included, as like this universal language that everybody can just know and understand emotionally. But like, I mean, that's really cool, but I think in some ways it doesn't give music and culture enough credit. Like, honestly, music is, well, maybe, or just it like doesn't look at it in the right way. I mean, some forms of music are universal and like can be heard by almost everyone and really just like appreciated and understood and be emotionally connected to. But like, I think something that's really important to note is like, while music for everyone in all its different ways is an expression of like humanness and what it means to be, I mean, like, if you go all the way back to, sorry, this is like a weird side point, but if you go all the way back to Genesis, like there's this spot in Genesis where I think, who is it that has 3 sons? And it's like Jubal, Jabal, and Tubal-Cain. It's these 3 sons. And it's like tent making, livestock, and then music. And it's like, so like shelter and food, like these 2 huge parts of the early industries or jobs of the world, and then music. So I think that tells you, like, from the very beginning, like music is something very important and laid out as by God as human and essential. But I think we need to be careful about saying like, oh yes, like everybody can listen to this one song and everyone will understand it and have it. Like, music is a very cultural activity, and
it's developed like from that paper that we talked about.
Yeah.
Lindsey wrote a paper about all these different cultures and how music developed differently in them, and it looks very different between different cultures. What we would call good music in like the modern world, or like Spotify or Beethoven, using that kind of scale. What do you call that? Those specific frequencies.
Yeah.
That's not universal. And the fact that everyone has developed something of that, like, makes me think that it is something that human nature reflects because it comes from God. Kind of like justice kind of thing. Like every society reflects justice because God is just and we've been made in his image.
Yeah, and I think there's also, sorry, what were you going to say?
So in that way, kind of like an explosion of humanness. But I want to ask about the author's background, or the person we're quoting's background.
Billy Joel?
Yeah, who's that?
No.
He's similar to Bach.
Yeah, that's really true. Yeah.
Very, very famous musician. Billy Joel.
Okay, like, so not necessarily
have you ever
like
heard
a
the Piano
pastor.
Man? No.
Yeah.
No, not a pastor.
Fire.
Oh, I know that song.
The Longest Time. Like,
some of those are good songs. But
classics, yeah.
Billy Joel, verified by Nathan.
Yeah, so he's probably not coming from a Christian perspective and saying an explosion of humanness. It's more of like, I don't know, a humanity's perspective. But Yeah, they get the point right, and that it is a reflection of our nature.
Mm-hmm.
I like that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think anyone has lived a full life without hearing one song, like one combination of frequencies or notes that make up a song?
What are we going to define as a song? Lindsay, can you give us a definition of what a song is? I've never once thought about that.
Like people are like, what is art? Well, so you have to distinguish the difference between noise and song, and usually, like song, honestly, there's such a huge cultural connection. Like usually, it just has like it's specifically placed, whether in rhythm or notation or frequency, and like it has connection like emotionally into culture to people.
Mm-hmm.
It changes, which is something like, so one thing that's interesting and I think just shows God's hand in music is, I mean, like sometimes people try to use like these human gauges for what music is, and like, which leads to like people, for example, like thought Chinese music was stupid for a long time because it didn't use the same 8-note scale that Western music did. And obviously, like, like Chinese music as well as music of many like of these Asian cultures is like super complicated and awesome, and like people figure that out eventually. But you can't just use like one human scale that you make up to like define what music is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. According to Google, a song is a short poem or other set of words set to music or meant to be sung.
There you go.
Thank you, Google.
I think the question Chase was asking is, what is music, as opposed to what is a song?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, those are very good answers. I think, I don't know. There's also a time to like consider what the writer was thinking, like when they were composing the music. Like that can make a big deal, I think, too, to at least consider that.
Yeah, it's true. Sure.
Beautiful part.
Yes, thank you.
This the last 3 words. Everyone loves music. I don't know. Do you guys know somebody who doesn't love music? Like, I feel like that there are people who just are like they don't have rhythm. They don't really care to listen to music. I think that's a thing. I think it's too blanket to say everybody loves music.
Yeah, I've never met someone who doesn't at some level, but like even the worst singers in church, like still like doing their music, I think.
I'm kidding.
Why did you look at me?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Ethan is a very good singer.
That is a lie.
Yeah, the difference between music and noise is Lindsay singing versus Nathan singing.
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm okay with that. The Bible says make a joyful noise, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yep,
There we go. Yes.
I don't know. Like, do you think there can be people who don't like music as a, I feel like there are definitely people who like have an aversion to like all these different genres of music or types of music, but like music as a whole, like that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's true, then we wouldn't consider music to be something that's like a part of human nature.
Not necessarily, because I consider emotion and creativity to be a part of human nature, but there are like sociopaths who can't feel emotion. So like there's exceptions because of the fall.
Yeah, I was gonna say because of sin. I don't know. My mind, like with questions like this, my mind goes to uncontacted tribes and wondering if they've ever made music.
Oh, I'm sure they have. Yeah.
Like the entire thing of ethnomusicology is like, and studying like world music is like all the like everywhere in the world.
Yeah, like
they find ways to make music.
Yeah.
Not of all these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Beautiful. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Great to have
Wow.
an expert on the program.
Yes.
Rambling for like 10 minutes.
No, that's
It's
okay.
great. That's what this normally is 45 minutes of a bunch of idiots rambling. But this time we have an expert rambling instead of two idiots. So that's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
So now the topic is a dream vacation. So let's suss this out.
What's what?
Suss this out. Talk about it. Expand.
Oh,
Discuss it.
what do you say, Chase?
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah.
Dream vacation.
Sioux Center?
Actually,
I'm living the dream every day here in Sioux Center.
That's
I was
good.
gonna say Brookings, but
Oh, you know.
Brookings is trash.
You.
that would be a lie because Brookings is trash.
Okay. Well,
So mean.
yeah, I know, Lindsay. Lindsay, this is too much. I'm gonna quit. See you guys.
Oh my. The show is crumbling before our very eyes.
No.
We had a good run. We made it to episode 7. That's the number of perfection. I mean, what else could we
Guys,
ask
I
for?
really think last episode was episode 7. I think this is episode 8.
No, it's definitely episode 7 now.
Chase knows. He's got them all on the list.
I don't know.
What is your answer, Chase?
I think I would love to go to England and go to like Oxford and like go where C.S. Lewis was, drink some tea, smoke a nice cigar, read some books, like
Very
see,
hoity-toity.
yeah,
I'm pretty.
just be a classy Englishman for a day, like wear a 3-piece suit, maybe a hat, have a cane, a monocle, maybe a really nice watch, like one of those watches that's like chained to your pocket.
Do you know there's that study, like a semester abroad at Oxford program?
Yeah, probably not for engineers though.
Probably not. It's really interesting though. It's like you studied with a scholar, like one-on-one, and you
Oh, that would be insane.
like reality and stuff. It's super cool.
Didn't AJ do that?
Yeah, I think so.
AJ, friend of the program, certainly listening with the family around the fireplace right now.
One of your 3 viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Parks' mom and dad, Lindsay and Mitchell, and then AJ. So 4, maybe 5.
3 views before I actually watched it, so maybe it has 4 views now.
Well, that's YouTube, Lindsay. We're worldwide. We're not just YouTube podcasters.
You're Mr. Worldwide.
What's the big Chinese social media website?
I have
There's
no
no-
idea.
What?
How do you expect anyone to
I
Wait.
certainly don't have an account, but I was gonna say we could post to that too.
We need to get on there. That's a big market we're missing out on. That's what, like 1.2 billion people we're missing out on? That's a lot.
I was having a Zoom call yesterday with my extended family, and my
Jeepers.
uncle.
This is what we're talking about?
Yes. My uncle surprised me and said, "I enjoyed hearing you speak in French last episode." And I was like, "No way, Uncle Sammy! If you're hearing this, thank you for listening to our podcast." Wow.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, Parks, what's your favorite?
Yeah, what's a dream vacation for you, big guy?
I think I would. I've always very much wanted to go to somewhere in Asia, maybe South Korea. Because my mother, her parents were missionaries there, and yeah, there's a lot of history with the Parks family in Korea. So I would just enjoy seeing Seoul and seeing the Sangsu Bridge that I
Yes.
did research on. Yes. Yeah. I would just somewhere in Asia. That would be fun. Yes.
That's cool. I was supposed to be in South Korea a month from now. RIP.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's sad. Sorry, Lindsay.
It's all right.
Yeah, it worked out okay.
Yeah, that's
Gotta
cool though,
refund.
Park.
Yes.
That's
What
cool.
about you guys? Yeah.
I know, but like for the podcast.
Well, are you talking about U.S. or international? I think it would be Colorado. I would want to go to Colorado, but that would be a starting vacation. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm not sure where I'd want to go abroad. We've talked about that some. What have I said?
You said like Greece and Italy, which I like also think would be cool.
Yeah, and
And like
I would want to see those biblical sites in
Yeah.
Greece, in Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love history and maps a ton, right? And I would love to see those places that I know where they are and know so much about and see it for real. So,
Yeah.
And Israel too. Getting to go there would be awesome.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But first, Colorado. Colorado would be fun. Want some good hikes.
Best.
Love the Rocky Mountains. Beautiful.
I worked with a pharmacist last week, who like made the mistake of towards the end of our shift asking me if I knew any good hikes in Colorado, and then I just like talked his ear off.
Yes.
And then like after I listed like 3 hikes, he was like, by the way, my wife is going to be like 8 months pregnant. And then I was like, oh, so maybe don't hike the mountain then. Like, okay, so what if it's like 1 mile walk you can do?
Yeah, yes. It's a flat. Brookings has some nice
Oh, my
hiking
word.
locations.
Oh my word.
Go to Brookings sometime.
Vacation in Brookings. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would love to go to Brookings.
Oh, awesome. Yes.
Yes.
Lindsay, have you been to Colorado a lot?
Yeah. So my parents have been going there. Like they went there for their honeymoon, like for the first time, and then just loved it and kept going back. And I went for the first time. They took me and my sister when my sister was 2 and I was 5, and we did like these 3 or 4 mile hikes, and they would just walk until like we got tired, and then like my dad and my mom would pick us up, and they'd just like keep hiking.
Oh, that's incredible. That's so cute.
There probably, I think last year was like there's a few years where we didn't go, but like where we went other places, but I think we've probably been like 6 or 7 times, honestly. And we just go there and get a little cabin and just go out and hike every day. Like we've hiked, we don't go crazy and hike 14ers or anything like that, but just like hike up to anywhere between like 4 and 8, I think, or 9 is the most we've done in a day.
Yeah, I was jealous last summer. She would send me all these pictures from like mountaintops and mountain lake views, and I was sitting at a desk looking at Google Earth at these places like,
That's awesome.
One of my favorite places because I honestly I know the area pretty well since I've been there so many times, and it has like this kind of nostalgia, and also it's just gorgeous. Like it's just so beautiful out there, and it's just a really accessible and well kept and beautiful national park.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Oh yeah.
Do you have someplace abroad that you really want to go to? Like is Korea on that list? South Korea?
Well, okay, here's where I'm going to sound hoity-toity a little bit. Is I've actually been really fortunate. I've actually been abroad 4 times already in my life, and have
Wow,
got
nice.
to see a lot of really crazy places. And I think one trip that was really special to me that was kind of just like crazy is I had 3 weeks when I was a junior in high school where I went with like 30 other juniors in high school with a Calvin professor, and we just toured like churches and art museums like for 3 weeks in Italy, and I just loved it. It was crazy, and I really would just love to like take Nathan back there and like show him a lot of the stuff that I learned, and then also like go to Greece and stuff.
some
really
awesome
cool
history stuff she has pictures of,
Mm-hmm.
like the Colosseum and all that.
Oh yeah, our hotel was
Pompeii.
like 2 blocks from the Coliseum. We like
What?
there's like crazy stories. Like we took this group and we lost a girl in the middle of Pompeii. That was really
Hear
bad
about
because none of us had cell service, and like all of a sudden, like one of us was gone. Like
Oh no.
really, just like a whole uncovered city. Like it's not just like one whole block. So, but she came back. It worked out okay.
That's good. Yep.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
that's
really
awesome.
crazy, and I'd love to go back there.
That's awesome. My sister went to Italy with her choir, and she
Yeah,
loved going to all these cathedrals and singing in them. Oh boy, the sound of it is incredible.
gorgeous. Yeah.
Hmm.
Lindsay and Chase are hopefully going to like Eastern Europe, Hungary area, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'll be
Next
cool.
Private
summer.
tour. Yeah, I sure hope so.
Yeah, me too. That'd be awesome.
What was it? What was that, Chase? I couldn't quite
Parks,
hear.
we're going to start talking about dream jobs right now, okay?
Oh,
we just
sweet.
talked about dream vacations. We're going to go to dream jobs. These can be things that you think are realistic and going to happen, or things that you thought of as a child and wanted to do, but you know it's not going to happen. So whichever you want to choose,
Okay. I have
Both.
or both.
Parks do both.
what? I
Oh
think
boy,
my
we're having a
dream
little bit
job
of
has
connection issue.
as of the last. Oh, oops. Hello. My dream job would be to be a movie director. I would love doing that, controlling shots and actors, and I would be movie director slash composer. I would love to compose too. That would be fun. Yes.
That'd be so cool.
If you do either of those things, let me know and I'll come help out.
Yes,
That
that
sounds
would be
really fun.
sweet. Yes, that would be very fun. Mhm.
Parks, what did you want to be like when you were little?
He didn't have any dreams. He was pretty boring.
I was rather than dreaming like Chase, I was actually living my jobs out. I was just kidding.
Wow.
I was just kidding.
Roast it.
No. I think I wanted to be like a lollipop seller or something like that.
What the? What?
You definitely just made that up.
Yeah, I did. I think it probably was
How
something
did you
classic.
make that up? Actually, like, what popped in your head that you're like, yeah, I want to lie about that. I dreamed of selling lollipops when I was.
No, it's not a total lie. I enjoyed thinking about like factories when I was a kid, and I would often think like, wow, I want to be in like an assembly line making a very abstract object like a candle or a
You wanted to work in a
Candles are
factory?
super abstract,
Wow.
not concrete in any way.
Yeah,
But your dream job as a child was to work in a factory?
I think so. For like some like top secret like
You
Willy
should move
Wonka.
to China.
No, like some Willy Wonka chocolate factory or something like that.
Was I just racist? Was that a poor
That's
comment?
not
to make?
racist.
Okay,
It's not about their race.
maybe a little insensitive, but that's okay. Actually, insensitivity is not okay. I'm not condoning insensitivity. Wow, I
Parks,
gotta
there's a
cover my
candy
bases
factory.
here. Yep, Parks.
There's a candy factory in Hull you could work at.
That's true. It's a foreign candy company.
Yeah,
I know the owner. I could get you a spot.
that would be awesome.
Not at all, no.
Don't need to call me out like that.
Sorry.
Wow.
No, I would enjoy that. That would be fun. What about you guys, Lindsay and Nathan? What were your dream jobs when you were 2?
Like all of my dream jobs that I have had.
Yes, just list them off.
Okay. Well, when I was very young, I mean it was kindergarten, and we had like your dream career. You had to dress up as what your dream career. All these people were dressing up like, doctors, all these cool things. Like doctors. I dressed up as a baseball player.
Ooh, yes.
It worked out really well for me. As anybody on the podcast listening here knows me, I am very coordinated.
Extremely athletic.
Yes, that's good.
Folks just like falling on my face or like trying to catch something and just like not doing
Yes,
well.
on the driving range today, I could witness your athleticism.
I was
firsthand.
I did pretty well sometimes.
She was better than I was.
On the driving range, you guys went
Yeah.
out and golfed?
Yeah.
I can't imagine, Nathan, that you would be any good at golfing.
Oh yeah, we went to
Actually,
Top
at the
Golf
end, he was
together.
pretty
Do you
good.
remember that? I did good.
Oh, yeah, you sucked. You were really bad at that.
bad.
He was pretty bad for a while.
Yeah, I kept hitting the ground and missing the ball, and I got pretty frustrated. And then all of a sudden it clicked.
And then
So-
my dad kept on like trying to coach him.
I'm good at golf.
He is really good.
That's fun. Yes.
Yeah, he's a pastor, so he kind of has to be good at golf.
I didn't know that was a stereotype, but
I
yes.
think that kind of is, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, anyways, continuing on my line of dreams.
Yes.
Then after I wanted to be a baseball player, I was like, no. So then I wanted to be an astronaut for quite a while. I had lots of dreams about working like for NASA. But then I had to get glasses. And somebody told me that if you wear glasses, you can't be an astronaut.
I think that's true, yeah.
Absolutely wrecked me. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna move on, I guess. And second grade, somebody told me this. It's just terrible.
When
Oh.
the whole world comes crashing down.
7-year-old. Yeah, it was probably my mom.
Honestly,
And then I also watched like one whole space movie. And if you have watched a space movie, people always like get suffocated and stuff. And I was like, that is absolutely not my jam. So then I decided I was going to be, the natural segue from that was I was going to be a paleontologist.
That's people who like study fossils and stuff, right?
Yeah, they dig up dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
that was one of mine too.
Yes. And so that was the big dream for a while. And see, my parents were very supportive. They took me to it. We lived in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the time, and they took me to a lot of like dinosaur museums. I just loved it. It was so cool. And then so I wanted to be that, and then I liked science a lot for a while, and I wanted to be a scientist. And then I like my 8th grade year, I like had always loved music, and I had this dramatic realization which I had never had. I was like, wait, like I could like do music for like a job, and I was like, oh. And after that, I was like, yeah, I really want to be a music teacher, and that's my dream job, and that's what I'm at college for. So.
Nice. Awesome. Yes.
And she just got the prestigious. It's not the Steve Carell. It's the. It's the.
I got a scholarship. I won a scholarship yesterday. And Nathan, like, we were on the golf course, and he's like, "Hey, remember you won that Steve Carell scholarship?" I was like, "It was the Fort Dodge Choral scholarship."
That's pretty similar in some ways.
Very prestigious. I was impressed.
Why are you saying prestigious?
Prestigious. Way of saying prestigious.
Like, you don't know how to say prestigious.
Oh. Well, whatever it was cool.
That's a
What?
good-
I want to pass.
Oh my gosh. Professionals here.
That's
Probably listen. Hey, yeah, that's all my explanation.
That's okay. Yes. Nathan, what about you?
Well, when I was little, I wanted to be a professional bug catcher. I wanted to like catch butterflies
Forgot about that.
and pin them and like display them in a little case
Tell them
because I
about
did that with my
jelly.
grandma.
You tell them about jelly.
Yeah, I had a pet bug named Jelly. It was a box elder bug and it was dead. I kept it in a box.
It was dead, but you kept it in the box.
It was really cool. And then it got lost or something. I don't know what happened to it.
No.
And my pets haven't done too great.
So sad.
Oh boy. Nathan, did you ever have dogs?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wanted to be like a paleontologist for a little bit too. And then I had a period in high school. I was like, oh, I really don't know what I want to do. And then I was encouraged by someone to look into engineering because I was.
That was the worst advice you've ever received.
Yeah, I know, right? And so I did that, and honestly, like this summer especially has been very comforting with that choice. I've been sure about it for a year, 2 years now, because it's been fun, especially the classes we've had at Dort.
Mm-hmm.
I like it a lot. But this summer, my job this summer has just been awesome. I love it. And it's doing engineering work and drafting parts and stuff like that, using 3D design software.
That
So,
sounds
yeah.
super fun.
Yeah, something like that. It sounds great. And I have no idea what that will look like, because you have no idea when you get a mechanical engineering degree what you're going to do. But
yeah,
I'm excited to try it out, I guess.
Yes, that reminds me, actually. I forgot one. I wanted to work for Lego. That's like my engineering connection. I wanted to work for Lego so badly, yes.
Parks, you should pursue that. You should be a civil engineer for Lego.
Yeah. Designing like huge, massive bridges out of Lego bricks.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very safe.
America, Lego people there. Have you ever been to the Lego place in the Mall of America?
Yeah, Parks and I were there.
Yes.
We were hanging out there like a couple months ago.
Yeah, that was fun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Mohammed didn't pick us up. That was a bummer.
Oh my
I do remember that. Yeah.
We've talked about that already.
I know you have. Chase, dream job.
For me, I think the only thing that I really remember when I was little is that I really loved airplanes, and like I had a whole ton of airplanes in like a box, and I would, on summer days, I would like line them up down my driveway just to line them up and look at them, and I loved them a lot. And so I really wanted to be a pilot. We had a family friend who was a pilot, and I was like, man, I want to do that. And now I am working at an airport this summer, and so this is actually incredible. My first day,
sweeping floors, mowing grass.
Well, yeah, of course there's menial tasks with it, but my first day, I was towing an airplane on the taxiway, or no, on the ramp, and I was like, what am I doing right now? Like, how did I get here? I was just so ecstatic and excited to be where I was, like, with these airplanes as a dream of as a child, and I'm in some ways fulfilling that right now. And so if I could have a job in the future where like I'm a pilot, or I'm doing like 3D drafting as an engineer with airplane parts, like that sounds really, really cool and super fun. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, keep sending videos of the planes.
I will. Yeah, we have a jet coming in from Michigan next week, so I'm excited for that.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Okay, our next topic, favorite album of music. So this isn't favorite song, this isn't favorite artist, this is a particular album put out by an artist. Yes, albums are different than playlists, Nathan. Those are not the same thing.
Yes.
Parks, can I guess your answer?
I want to come up with something good, but yes, you can guess.
Your answer is going to be The Search by NF, which dropped last summer.
Yeah, that is definitely, yes, up there. That's probably it. Our original like soundtracks to movies, albums.
I'll give that. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I don't have an answer to that still, but I enjoyed Little Women. It has a very good soundtrack.
Which one?
I like them both. I think I like the original a bit better, the music, but they're both good. Both have very good music.
I love the new Little Women. I went to see it in theaters, and
We did.
Yeah, we did. Nathan sat by me as I cried probably 20 times.
Yes.
It's so good. Wow.
Yeah.
Nathan, do you have a favorite album, or are you not cultured enough to know what an album even is?
Well, now that I've been informed what an album is, I've chosen one.
Oh, can I guess which one it is?
Yeah.
It's that Newsboys.
Yeah.
Oh, the Newsboys hymn album, Hallelujah for the Cross?
Yeah, I listened to that like 2.5 times on the way here today. So,
that's awesome.
yeah, I like that.
Solid album.
Yeah. Newsboys are very good. Mm-hmm.
Chase,
Yeah.
what's your favorite album?
Oh yeah. We're talking about that. I too really like NF's The Search album that came out last year. It's, at least the first like 12 songs on it is some of the best lineup of music I've ever heard in a sequence in my life. Like, never really gets old. But for like worship, I would go Songs of Common Prayer by Greg LaFollette. It's so the Book of Common Prayer is an Anglican like liturgical book with different prayers and forms for worship. And
Is that the one that we use?
No, we use Value Vision. That's a different thing. But so he put these like forms that people like you say in church, like sometimes they'll put up on the screen like a confession of sins, and everybody in the church says that. And so he put that to music, and it's gorgeous. And I appreciate it a lot.
What is that called again?
Songs of Common Prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Like something at least I said growing up for time of confession was like, forgive us for what we have done and for what we have left undone. And that comes from that book, the Book of Common Prayer. I think that's pretty popular phrasing. Lindsay, what about you? Favorite album? Give us some favorites. You don't have to narrow it down to one.
Okay, well, so when I was a teenager, I really, really liked the musician Lord. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yes, yeah.
He had 2 albums that I listened to a ton. I guess, I don't know. I've moved away from that, I would say, definitely. I mean, those songs are still, like, some of them are still special to me because I just listened to them a lot, especially when I was a teenager. But I think, oh my goodness, there's so many good ones. Like, being just a music ed nerd, I of course listened to a lot of choir music, as one does. But I also just really like a lot of the sound that comes from, R&B music, but a lot of that music is, kind of trashy, which is just not good.
Yeah.
So an album that came out recently that I really have loved is called Jesus is Born is the name of the album. Now, that is, if you remember, Jesus is King is Kanye's album.
Yeah.
Which blew up like crazy, and like all these worship arts people were super into it. I thought it was okay. I'm not a big Kanye person, and I was just like, this wasn't my favorite. But
yeah,
the choir he used for that album called the Sunday Service Choir, and they released their own album called Jesus is Born, which it has it has 19 songs on it. It's like this huge album full of just these gospel songs that have like so much weight to them, sung like at the top of their lungs by this huge choir, and they have like a full drum line, a full jazz band behind them, like this crazy ensemble, and the songs are just so cool and just so like faith and hope filled, and just like speak, like they just have so much hope in God, and those are so fun to listen to. So I think that's one of my favorite albums.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
super cool. I didn't know that that choir released an album too. I'm definitely gonna have to give that a listen.
Yes, same. Out of Kanye's new album, that was like my favorite part, when the choir was loud. Like, that was incredible. I loved it.
Beautiful. Well, I think we covered a good amount of topics today, ladies and gentlemen. Lady and gentlemen.
Yay!
Lindsay, I loved having you on. I think these two guys did too. I would assume Nathan did.
Nod. I can't hear you nod. Silence.
It means I don't have to talk as much.
Yes, Lindsay. Thank you for joining us. It was a good time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Absolutely. We boys and lady, We've done what we always do on this program, in that we've hopped, skipped, jumped, floated through various topics.
Ooh, loaded.
And until next time.